Malicious compliance can be the best. I'm your host, Height. Let's see who's been blessed. Our first one is from King of Mooks. Very mild one. Bit wordy with a not particularly satisfying payoff. A while back, my wife and I were buying our house after a few years of rental. There was a delay in the new house being ready, so we moved with my mother for a few weeks. During that time, I stashed some stuff at work, including bringing in my chair, a very nice Herman Miller Aeron that I'd gotten secondhand. The office chairs were old, standard and serviceable, but not exactly nice. After a few days, I noticed that my chair would be in the conference room every morning. No problem, I just wheeled it back to my desk. I was working 8 to 4 to avoid traffic, so was usually in first. The CEO, of about 120 people, would usually not arrive until about noon, and then take later meetings when most of the staff were away. After a few days, the chair kept ending up at his desk. Open plan, thankfully, so I just took it back every morning. I wasn't foolish enough to go into the CEO's office. He'd shoot me a dirty look every morning, but that was it. After a few more days of this back and forward, the CEO's assistant, who was a lovely person who I felt immense pity for, approached me and told me that the CEO didn't think it was appropriate that I had a nicer chair than him. People would think my desk belonged to the CEO and it was stressing her out, having to basically fight for it every day on his behalf. I told her I understood completely and would stop fighting over it. I took it out of the office at lunchtime and reclaimed a normal office chair. The next day she came over and asked where the chair was. I said with an incredibly straight face that I thought since it wasn't appropriate, I just took it to my car. She had a super stunned look, but just kind of ran off. Since I was almost always in first, I always got parking near the building. Pretty much everyone got to walk past my car on the way into the office and see my chair in the boot for a few more weeks. However, given his cowardly nature, I never got approached about it again. To this day, I'm 100% certain they thought I was just going to give in and let him have my chair. Instead, I got the joy of telling everyone the honest truth about why my chair was in my car for weeks. Edit 3, since the first two were just referring to the too long didn't read. To answer the most common questions, I asked HR before bringing my stuff in. They knew, my team lead knew, everyone who said, "Hey, what's with the chair?" knew. Did the CEO actually know? I did not directly inform the CEO, because I never talked to him more than 3 times when I worked there, so it would have been weird. Yes, I could have labeled my stuff, but it didn't seem necessary for about 8 weeks. The fact that the CEO lacked balls enough to go and talk to the OP directly about the chair and have their assistant do it also proves they lack the spine deserving to sit in the Herman Miller chair. And our final one is by 0313. Several years ago, a friend, Mark, started a home-based computer software business. He and his wife lived in their home for about 10 years and had a well-established home phone number. This was around the time that cell phones were just beginning to be popular, so 95% of people still used mainly landlines. Mark worked 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., the same shift as his wife, so his customers could be free to discuss their computer needs uninterrupted after their own businesses closed for the day. Most computer maintenance still had to be done in person instead of remotely, so customers could drop off devices after work and pick them up from Mark's back porch on their way to work the next day. All went swimmingly for a few months until a new doctor opened up a practice in town, complete with a telephone number differing from Mark's by 1 digit. Mark's number had a 3, where the medical office had an 8, in the last 4-number combination. Misdialing was frequent. At first, there were occasional calls to which Mark would patiently redirect the caller. As time wore on, the practice got more and more referrals from local hospitals to give Dr. New in town an established client base. The calls began to come at all hours, 24 hours a day, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it. The office still got calls after hours to an answering service for patients to find out who was on the call and for the hospital staff to reach doctors after hours. Mark had to unplug the phone just to have a conversation over lunch with his wife, and in order to sleep. Also not ideal when you have 3 daughters of dating age out after dark. Mark called the doctor's office and asked them to please change their phone number so he and his family could get some peace and quiet, and so he could build his own business to support them. Since he had his phone longer, he felt the doctor should be gracious and change his number to a different one to stop the confusion. He was told in about so many words by the doctor that it was too bad, but nothing was going to be done, as advertising, stationery, business cards, and signage were expensive to redo. Not to mention convey the new information to all his patients, medical registries, the medical board and societies, and hospitals.
Just do the best you can. I'm sure the calls will stop soon. Good luck to you.
Okie dokie, I'll do my best to take care of things, Mark cheerfully replied. After that, Mark began to field all the calls that came in personally. You've had the sniffles all morning after working in a yard around pollen? You'd better come right in. You start coughing every time you smoke a cigarette? Come on in. I'm not the doctor, but a temperature of 98.9 sounds a little high to me. We'll see you right after lunch today. You're new in town and you have kids who need physicals and shots for school next week? It just so happens we have an opening in an hour. No, don't worry. We could take all 5 of them at once today. Whatever the problem was, he started making appointments for each and every person calling. All were delighted to have such personal attention and prompt appointments. Sure, we take all insurance plans. Come right in. He also made routine checkup type appointments for 4:30 p.m. one Friday afternoon for 6 different people. Bright and early the next Monday morning, Dr. Newentown called and begged him to stop. Mark said, "I will if you will." The doctor had a new phone number before the end of the week. You know, the irony here is the doctor acting like a snob. It's like, to avoid issues like this from happening, from potentially damaging their credibility as a doctor, as an office, you'd think that common sense would have prevailed. Unfortunately though, when you're dealing with an egotistical fuckhead like this, you can only do one thing: maliciously comply. Alright, that's enough maliciousness for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Malicious Compliance. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.